still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be.
Well, happy Manic Monday to all of my coffee beans. We got news information that is being spread around about a new date that we are going to be looking into tonight. We're going to learn a little more about Savannah.
Anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why they say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that you thought you could never do before. And even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
As you wake up in the morning, you want to find the latest, greatest information about criminal cases and have an intuitive conversation about the suspects associated with these cases. Head over to the Bullhorn Betty channel on YouTube. Get breaking news right here on the Bullhorn Betty channel. Welcome to the Bullhorn Betty Coffee Club. Enjoy your stay and enjoy your day.
Well, hello, my beautiful coffee beans. It's so nice to see ya. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing well this Manic Monday. You survived. Most of you survived your first day back. Some of you guys are not even going back because you got you're on kid duty. It's spring break. Hopefully you guys don't have your kids in Daytona. That would be a bad no-no. We do not send our children to Florida for spring break. Just remember that, parents. Your kids want to come to Florida. You say hell to the nah. We don't want your kids, and your kids don't want to come here. I'm just telling you, it gets a little wild and crazy. I don't know what the hell's wrong with people anymore. But anyways, we are covering the case of Savannah Guthrie and Nancy Guthrie. Savannah Guthrie tonight. Nancy Guthrie, the 84-year-old grandmother, ripped out of her home in the middle of the night by a masked gunman. We've been trying to figure out what in the world is going on here. And now we're learning from Brian Entin that there is a new date. And this date sounds very familiar, at least for us it does. We were saying that Savannah Guthrie did this interview about Mark Orchard on January 24th. But guys, we might have been wrong about the date. But this date is awfully suspicious to us. And it does have some relevance to potentially Savannah's past, Savannah Guthrie's past. So welcome, I'm Bullhorn Betty. Like I said, we are covering this case. I'm going to say hi to everybody before we get started, and then we are going to further get in and further discuss. Melanie, it's always nice to see you. West Virginia Holler Girl, the real me too. Judy, hello, my love. It's nice to see you. I don't know, I'm freezing my tail end off here in the house. The real me too, Jody Downey, it's nice to see you. Marissa, hello, it's nice to have you. Handsome man, happy St. Patrick's Day. Is it St. Patty's Day? Do I have the wrong shirt on? I can't believe it's St. Patty's Day and I didn't realize it. All right, let me get a little festive. You guys are going to be able to see through my heart. See through my heart. I've got a Harley Davidson Clover skull. And I just realized with the green screen, it really isn't. It's kind of cool though. When people said I'm hollow inside, I guess they weren't lying. Oh, that was horrible. Oh. All right, is it really St. Patty's Day? Did I miss a holiday? What the hell's wrong with me? Little Orange Man, it's nice to see you. Marilyn, Trailblazer. Sassy Granny, it's nice to see you. Bombastic, hello, my love. Jabby Cook, ooh, Jabby Cook. I don't think I want to be around you when you cooking. You sound dangerous. True Crime Junkie, it's nice to see you. It's nice to see you, the real me too. Hello, Danielle. It's nice to see you. I hope you are doing well. Who else do we have? Blessed Happy Nana. Cindy, it's nice to see you. Maria's Kitty Cat. Narita, it's nice to have you. I hope you're doing well. Mothra, it's nice to see you. Mothra, you know me, I can't do anything right here. But that's okay, we still love you and you still love me. Miss Rue, it's nice to see you. Debbie, hello. Marissa, I think I said hi to you already. Frank it up. JM, Debbie, there we go. WH, McBriggs, reporting for duty. It's not St. Patty's Day today, it's tomorrow. Well, damn it. Handsome man, you made me go and change my outfit for nothing? I gotta wear this shirt tomorrow? All right, handsome man. All right, that wasn't very ladylike. No, I'm just joking. He was saying early. I thought I was late. Look at that. Well, it made my day. I'm not late, and I'm festive. It is nice to see you. I know you guys are all here because we need to jump into this. The reason why I've got Savannah on the thumbnail is, could this start putting this back into her court? Not that she did anything wrong. I want to preface this. Nobody in this family did everything that I can see. They haven't done anything wrong. And I know that you guys are saying, what about Tommaso? Okay, I get it. Some of you guys are just still hook, line, and sinker with Tommaso. There's not anything we're going to be able to do, but some of us have to move on from Tommaso because it's clouding our judgment. So we got to start thinking outside the box. Police and law enforcement are saying it's not them. Well, what are we going to do? Keep clubbing somebody over the head that the law enforcement's never going to look at? Or are we going to look at some other people? So we're looking at some other people. And, we're looking at, like the painter or the pressure cleaner or the gardener or this or that. And now we're starting to hear a January, we heard January 11th. Nothing really jumped out at us as a major date for us, right? What's January 11th? That's 20 days before this thing happened. What does that have to do with anything? But January 24th was a week before, and we talked about this date. So I had to do some research, and I told you that the date I didn't know specifically. We heard that she did an interview about her ex-husband, about Mark Orchard, which is a BBC producer overseas and everything else like that, around this time. Well, this is not the first time she's opened up a little bit about her ex-husband. But would he have been notified previously or anything like that? Because she actually did the interview on January 21st. I just find it interesting because if we were to date back to 11th, it would have nothing to do with Mark Orchard if he didn't know that she was doing this podcast, okay? If she wasn't doing this, if he didn't know that she was doing this podcast really didn't matter. And that's all there is to it. It just would not matter. So the fact that we have this podcast on the 21st, which is 10 days after what we perceive as the first visit from this assailant, then it sounds like he came back a week later. Or, that's what we're concluding as to why law enforcement is specifically asking about that date. So what say you? Let's listen to what Brian Entin has to say here real quick, and then we'll further discuss. And I'm probably going to take my St. Patty's Day shirt off so I can wear it tomorrow, so I can be festive. I don't know if I'm going to go to... we're going to have to do an early morning... just let me preface this. We're going to have to do an early morning live because I still have to do a meeting. But it's going to be ridiculously cold, so I might be doing the meeting from home. So I'm just saying it depends on how cold it is in the morning when I wake up.
We knew that they were keying in on January 11th and that they were asking neighbors for video from January 11th if they had seen anything suspicious on January 11th. So we knew that. But she told me that the detectives have also been asking her about January 24th, which is the first I've heard of this. January 24th would have been the Saturday before Nancy went missing. So 8 days before Nancy went missing. And again, you're going to hear her explain this, but she said specifically they were looking for video from that day. They actually helped her go through her cameras to see if she had anything suspicious on them from January 24th. It's interesting that that's on a weekend and that January 11th is also on a weekend. It's just kind of stood out to me. I don't know if they think that this suspect may have been someone who worked during the week that would come and case the neighborhood on the weekends. That I don't know, but I know that they have been interested in January 24th, which is new, and that they were also interested in January 11th. And again, you're going to hear her explain that in a second. The other interesting thing she brought up to me, which hasn't been discussed much, is that Nancy Guthrie had a security gate on her front.
Now that I'm back in normal wear. Okay, let's chat about this. So as you heard, we already knew about the January 11th date. The January 11th time frame is pretty interesting because this is when the neighbor said she saw this individual, and she remembers this because her birthday was on the 8th. January 8th. And so this was in such close proximity to her birthday. She knew how many days after her birthday that she happened to see this man that wore his cap. She described it as down really low, so she couldn't really see his face. And when you saw the area of the window that she was talking about, it would have been very difficult for her to really make out the person. She might just have a little spot here or a little spot there unless she went to one of her other windows and opened up the blinds and looked out, which had a clearer view. And maybe she kind of dipped her head back and could see clearer. But something caught her eye with this guy while she just thought it was really kind of sus. You know, hindsight 2020, you know, she does remember this event, and this kind of came back around January 11th. And we also were hearing at that time potentially about a white van. But you know what's really weird? I still don't know where this white van came from, because law enforcement has never described to us any type of vehicle that they've been looking for. Does anybody know about this white van, or where this white van could have originated from? Did somebody talk about it? Like the 11th is Sunday, the 24th is Saturday, the 1st is Sunday. He had time on the weekend. Bingo, bingo. I like that, Crime Time Grime. That makes sense. So Crime Time Grime is making a valid point here. Like the 11th is a Sunday. The 24th is a Saturday. The 1st is a Sunday. Every single one of this was a weekend. So this person most likely has a day job. What about retired Air Force General William McAllister from Albuquerque? We talked about that. Briggs. We talked about that the other day. We thought that was a little weird because in this particular situation, the Guthrie family, we don't know. I mean, I've heard some rumors about Nancy's husband or Savannah's dad, but I've never seen any documentation to support that evidence that he was this person that had all these, classified information. But what I do know is that Savannah Guthrie and her husband are highly connected as well, especially with the Democrat Party, such as like President Barack Obama. She was able, she got Senator Mark Kelly just like that. I mean, so she's a very well-connected person as well. So, the political, angle for these two are pretty unique. One being very classified information and new information being released, and then all of a sudden this guy just up and disappears. It makes you wonder if the aliens came down and snatched him, or I'm just saying, I believe that we're not the only thing in this big black nothing out there. That I don't think our solar system is the only one out there. Okay, I'm a realistic person. Okay. I'm not dense in this in the cranium. Okay, anybody that doesn't think that there's stuff out there further than our solar system, I kind of would have to question. I gotta question you. Like, even though I don't see them, I know they're there. Do 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 do. They are watching. Oh, let me. Hold on. Where is it?
They are watching you.
I need to stop. I need to stop. Low-paying jobs, too. He used to all low-end equipment, no money for high-end equipment. Well, either way, it's still pretty interesting that he's gone. I mean, and he was gone like days after, I think, 20 days? And he disappeared after Miss Guthrie. So, I mean, it kind of gives you the EBGBs, but there's other elderly women that are disappeared from the area, too. The one that was disappeared from the area that was in Pima County ultimately was found, and she was okay. No aliens. What about Sasquatch? Do we believe in Sasquatch? No, I'm just joking. But this 24th date really does kind of make you stop and think here, what was going on in and around that time. And the only thing that popped out to me, like just started popping out when I heard January 24th, I am confident we were using January. Somebody told me it was January 24th because I even said it was the Saturday before, and that was the 24th. So I know I was using the 24th as the date for this podcast, but I decided to do some research to find out exactly when it was, and come to find out it was actually recorded on the 21st, which was 10 days after the alleged first known or assumed visit of this abductor, right? So we're hearing January 11th as being a day. We knew January 11th. We heard January 11th, further back. And then now we're kind of fast forward here. And now we're talking about January 24th. And like I said, I had been running with that Savannah did this interview about her ex-husband on the 24th, the weekend before, and that wasn't true. She did it on the 21st, which was more in the middle of the week when she did this podcast. So let me go ahead and show you this and break this down for you, because I've already done a little bit of work and research on this because I was wanting to know. So I'm just going to read everything that I have learned about this because I know you're going to be interested in it. This is about her ex-husband, Mark Orchard. This is the person she married. And the reason why we're bringing this up is because in technicality, we're off the heels. We're still really fresh with the whole thing. You know what? I don't even know if my volume's up. Am my volume up? I don't even know if my volume's working. I didn't even remember if I set it right this afternoon. I pray it sets for it's fine, but it's so far. Oops. So far so good. So far so good. Output. That's good. That's good. That's good. Oh, wow, it kept all the settings. Oh, I love that. Thank God. Okay. So it sounds like I should be good. So Mark Orchard and her had been married for a little bit of time. And that little bit of time was like a little under 4 years. And she calls it like a failure, a really horrible and sad time. She refers to it as, I can't remember the word she uses, like the... what does she call it? Hold on, I'll get to it in just a second. The blah, 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 blah. Oh, I thought it was on here. Like the gory details. She calls it like, she doesn't want to get into the gory details. Which, it to me sounds like this was a very tumultuous relationship. And nobody has ever, nor has it ever come up, about who initiated the divorce. It's just that she got married to this guy. They were together like 4 years, and then they were divorced. He kept a very quiet lifestyle. She kept a quiet lifestyle. But it was the Joy Rides podcast in January 26th, and in that she debuted Coped. I don't know, series. I don't know what that is. Guthrie described her divorce probably the most difficult time in her life. She confessed to feeling like a failure at 36, noting that the painful contrast of her career at NBC taking off while her personal dreams were falling apart. But she also did another podcast back in, July 24th, some 6 months before this. Was this the first trigger to her ex? Because this guy that we see on the front porch, and I'm not saying Mark Orchard did anything, okay? I just want to be very clear. We're just speculating here as a possible motive or scenario. That really is it. I don't want people thinking I'm accusing anybody here. Please don't go and accuse this man. Don't go on his page. We want to make sure we're putting the proper disclaimers on this stuff. I just want to make sure you guys know you have a big, beautiful chat right here to get all that angst and anger and frustration and perspective and theories. You have a big, beautiful family here called the Coffee Club that, you want to get, get some of that stuff off your chest. Do it in the chat. Don't do it toward these people. We want to be kind individuals out there. We don't want to be assholes, okay? So don't be an asshole, okay? And we just say don't be a Richard, but I felt like using the big girl word. I don't know why I'm cussing today, but I am. Maybe because it makes me feel good. I don't know. Anyways, Guthrie shared a period of her ultimate solidified her faith as she realized she didn't have to be perfect to be loved by God. So it sounds like she really had some type of struggle with her marriage, some type of struggle with her faith that kind of rocked her to slow down in life. She describes it as the most painful because she thought that she was never going to be able to have children again because of this. And a hitman would not use low end equipment. That's not necessarily true. I think people, I have heard of some hitmen that are just people willing to do the job, but they are freaking you got to think of kind of gangsters, you know? You're going to try to get as much as you can. I mean, everything's kind of generic because they're from the streets. They don't really have the high-tech stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't think the people on Telegram are really... I mean, you're talking about thugs, you know? I don't see thugs being, you know, and trust me, you can probably, I don't know what you could, I hear you could order just about anything on Telegram. Okay, what do I know? I don't know. I don't go shopping for illegal stuff on Telegram, so I'm like the furthest person to tell you what you can buy on like Telegram or Instagram. I'm just telling you, we're dealing with a story right now out of San Antonio, Texas, and it's with Christopher Preciado. As a matter of fact, they were doing jury selection today, and that right there, you know, the boyfriend was slinging some weight, like some major weight, through the freaking mail over Instagram and Telegram. Like, he was showing bricks in a photo with money and pew-pews, and I'm like, they allow this stuff on here? Like, I ran the story on the case. I've got the photos, I've got the images, I know it exists, I know that you can do that. I've been on Telegram for years. I had no idea, but I'm not shopping for that, nor do I even know how to even begin to look for something like that. I have no earthly idea, but once we tracked him down, and once we found his Telegram, holy smokies. I gotta be honest with you. You know, I'm not that old, but I was shocked. I mean, this is some, like, the kids this day got it going on. Like, everything is digital. You know, back in our day, you had to get your hands dirty. Okay? I'm just saying. They got this stuff streamlined and everything. It's crazy. And these kids aren't very old. I mean, Savannah was just 18. Wasn't she? She was just 18? I don't know. He seems like a cleaned up man. Oh, I'm sure he probably is a cleaned up man. I've seen a lot of cleaned up thugs. I don't know about you. I mean, I'm just saying. So anyways, I come through here and I'm just looking through this, trying to find some information. And I said, what day was the podcast in January? And as you see it above my head, it was on the January 21st. We believed it was the 24th, but I found it quite interesting because how close to that date it is. How close all of this stuff is to the date that Nancy Guthrie was ultimately taken, you know, forcefully out of her home. It's just another angle. It looks like a schoolgirl on that shirt. Thugs do clean up when they have to. They got to go to court. You damn right they do. I'm sorry. I wouldn't know about the thug life if they were all burly with all that facial hair. I wouldn't have been as much trouble as I was in. Okay, I'm just saying. Including Craigslist. Is Craigslist around anymore? I'm sorry, I gotta eat popcorn. I forgot all about Craigslist. Is Craigslist around anymore? Do people use Craigslist? Do they have anything else? I don't know. I forgot all about Craigslist. I'll be darned. I can't believe I used to buy a lot of stuff. I forgot about Craigslist. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that. I'm getting old, okay? I'm just getting old. We're not talking about it. Okay, let's get back to the Savannah Guthrie and this interview. Because we're looking for something, you know, cause and effect. The problem is let me just preface this as well. I don't think that potentially Mark Orchard is a reasonable person of interest, because we have to try to justify the January 11th timing, and I don't see how he would have known on January 11th that she would be talking about him 10 days later. I just don't reasonably conceive how that would be possible. Like, even if he knew some people in the business, you really don't ever know what type of topics are going to come up. And from everything I've heard, she's never really gotten graphic, you know, when she refers to her ex-husband. She never has really talked about what led to the separation, specifically who initiated the separation, or any of those gory details. You know what I'm saying? So we don't really know what sparked this separation. Was it domestic violence? Was it, finding out he was having a bunch of affairs? Was she having a bunch of affairs? I mean, I just don't see her being the one doing all that, but you got to ask the questions. So I don't know. And so I'm still asking, and it says, did Mark know she was doing these? And there's no public record whether he was notified or if he has reacted to Savannah's recent interviews. So I'm just trying to kind of spark in here and, just peek a little bit, find out whether or not he has ever been notified in the past about, one of her stuff. And there's nothing really publicly that he's ever been notified about anything that she may have said to him, So I don't know. Hey, B Betty, it's nice to see you, love. I hope you're having a great evening. So I'm just really not sure that he really would have knowledge of this podcast where she said very vague things about her past or her marriage with Mark. So I don't know if he would be the one that triggers, but how ironic it is that this is so close to that date that she talked about him. So, I wanted to know what she really has ever said about Mark, or what she's opened up about Mark in the last few years. Because, this is an angle. This is not the first time we brought up Mark. And then, of course, this new date really sparked that curiosity in me. I knew it was going to spark maybe the curiosity in all of you. And so when Savannah Guthrie opened up about her husband, Mark Orchard, she was notably careful to avoid specifics about him or the breakdown of their marriage. Instead, she focused entirely on her internal emotional experience and how it shaped her in her faith. And then in, 2025, 2026 interview, her comments about the relationship and the divorce included heartbreak and recovery, feelings of failure, but they were more internalized, with the way she was feeling, as opposed to discussing the details of their divorce or the case. So I find it interesting, but I don't think it's going to be an appropriate path. But I just feel like something happened. I really do feel like this person was put up to this or paid to do this. And there was an article I was reading that referenced Jennifer Coffindaffer. And I might pull that up if I can find it. But it referenced Jennifer Coffindaffer. And in that article, she was speaking about these two teenagers that were on an app, and these two people approached them. They had some weird names and offered to pay them to go and break into someone's house. Like, these people, they don't even know these people. And these people were able to convince two teenagers to home invade somebody's home because they believed they had a $60 million cryptocurrency account and they wanted the numbers. And these kids did it. And I just keep wondering, I don't know how these young individuals are being manipulated like this. If somebody reached out, we were just getting into the computers, and yes, when we were in the computers, we did have predators already, trying to talk to any type of girls that were on the, we were informed by our parents, and I just don't see, and maybe there was an uptick in, maybe people putting themselves in danger and meeting people. But I just find this to be an alarming rate this day and age, like with the Roblox and how they're able to prey on children. And it seems like every time we turn around and a child's missing, you find some crazy avenue to social media or to a gaming software or a gaming system. It's becoming really scary. And then now you're finding out that kids are being manipulated by people to actually carry out ruthless crimes. And they're doing this? Like, I'm floored that people have the wherewithal to brainwash another. Like, you would think you would have to almost brainwash someone to get them to do something like that. And it's true. I can't remember what it was, but it was, let me see. Coffindaffer, Jennifer Coffindaffer. Signal. Cryptocurrency. Currency. Here it is. Here it is. I think this is it. Sometimes, and I say my searches out loud, so if you guys are ever trying to figure out how sometimes I search, well, you guys are getting the keywords that I search by. So this is the article right here. So retired FBI agent Jennifer Coffindaffer is convinced that a recent arrest of 2 teenagers in Arizona could be connected to the case of Nancy Guthrie's disappearance. Jennifer first floated the idea on March 10th, but has since shared an update with what she believes is new evidence to support her theory. On January 31st, just hours before Nancy, the mother of today's Savannah Guthrie, was last seen outside of her home in Arizona. 2 teenage boys from California were arrested after dressing up as delivery drivers and allegedly duct taped and assaulted 2 adults in their home in Scottsdale, Arizona, according to Fox 10. Police believe the boys were extorted to rob the homeowners because they allegedly possessed $66 million worth of cryptocurrency. The teenagers got the information from someone known as Red and someone known as 8, and all communications with these people were through the Signal application. Jennifer's theory is that a scheme could somehow be related to what happened to Nancy, as Scottsdale, Arizona is not that far north from where Nancy lived in Tucson. On March 15th, she took to X to share an update to her theory, pointing to the billboard in Woodland Hills, California, that reported on Nancy's disappearance. So, you know, and it just gives you a little more information down here on the boys. Those boys were bumblers. But these cases have similarities, and I have no doubt the FBI is making sure that Red and 8 have no connection to Nancy or funding other kidnapping attempts. Now, seeing this billboard in California, Jennifer shares, albeit 4 hours away from the teens, it begs the question, why California? I'm sure that while everyone is camped out at Nancy's, the real investigation is occurring elsewhere. So I found that very, very, very interesting when it comes to the Guthrie case and this specifically. So I thought I would share this stuff with you guys. It's not really, I mean, I don't know what to think about this January 24th date, but the reason why it caught my attention is because we've been talking about January 24th. Unfortunately, we were inaccurate about the date. So it's just kind of one of those things, you know, like telephone. that by the time the information got to us, it wasn't January 21st, it was January 24th, the weekend before, which we thought was very interesting early on in the investigation when we were talking at possibly theories. We said January 24th was the date that she did this podcast on her ex-husband. But I found out for sure tonight that that was inaccurate. The podcast actually happened on January 21st, so 3 days before this date. And so I still thought, okay, well, that still could be. But then we have to try to go back and explain the January 11th, which was before the podcast. So it kind of removes, in my mind, it kind of removes Mark Orchard from being, because, you know, it was one of my theories. You guys know we talked about Mark Orchard early on really early on in the investigation when we were trying to identify people known to Savannah that may have had a falling out. Well, I still always kept him, on the list like everybody else. And so we've come back to him a couple times, but nothing that really held on until this January 24th date. And so when I looked into this investigation and investigated a little bit further, we found out that our date that we originally thought was January 24th was actually January 21st. So with the strange guy being at this location on the 11th, and now potentially on the 21st. This feels like whatever happened was planned potentially even as far back as last year. Didn't we hear about the trends? Let's look at this. Hold on a second. Let's look at the Google trends. Nancy Guthrie. I think I'm going to do right. Kind of like this a little bit better. Okay, let's look at this. Let's see what we got here. So, Google Trends indicated potential pre-operational surveillance before Nancy Guthrie went missing in early 2026 with spikes in searches for her Tucson home address June 2025 and late 2025. Oh my gosh. Look at that. This is another time when she talked about Mark Orchard. That just freaked me out just a little bit. Okay, I'm not saying anything. Like I was just wow, verdict coming on Corey Richards. That was a sad thing, writing a book for her kids when she less than 3 hours they're convicting her. I know these things. Laugh out loud. I see the daughter popping, but by was the next line. I was wondering how she popped. Savannah did her homecoming in November of last year at the restaurant in her college, but they're saying with this one, they're saying with this one here that the spike for the address was in late June or late 2025. And now, I'm just shocked because in late June 2025, July 2025, she was also on a Reclaiming podcast where she was speaking with Monica Lewinsky. Guthrie called the divorce horrible and sad, stating it broke her heart and took years to recover from. And that's when these things first started out. I'm I'm sorry, but I was just closing the box on, I was literally just saying, I don't think it's the guy. I don't think I can say that right now because these trends are very interesting. And then on, again, January 11th. Isn't that creepy? So they have trends on January 11th. January 11th is when the neighbor saw this creepy guy out at the property. So somebody punched in on January 11th her address. Her address was punched in. Can they trace the person that used that? I mean, did they use Google Maps? If they use Google Maps, can we find out all the people that searched it? I mean, by a number or code that can be eventually identified as a human or an account, a real account? You also showed December. I'm not sure what did I show in December. Let's go back here. Are you saying when I looked at December? It was January. Unless we're talking, I don't know what you mean. I'm sorry, Mike. I'm confused. It's late. And when it starts getting late, my choo choo goes choo 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 choo. I'm in the chunk 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 part of the day. Sorry. I'm not firing on all cylinders. They could have used a VPN. They could have, but you got to remember a lot of people on the phone forget to do that. This could go a lot deeper than we all, at least one, thought. I mean, Savannah missed the Olympics because of this. There seems to have been a lot of earlier shady events or people around the neighborhood. Yeah. If they used a VPN, it'll be harder to track. It'll be harder to track, but it's not impossible, not in the United States. So, I mean, the only time that it starts getting really difficult if somebody knows how to bounce the VPNs. When it starts, every 5 seconds, and that's, there are people that know how to do it, but a single VPN is not going to be enough. If you can bounce a system, I've heard about it, but I've never seen it done, nor would I know the people that would, in all fairness. But there's a way, and I hear that's probably the most difficult. But you're talking about kind of really high skilled hackers and stuff like that know how to bounce the VPN, like that. It showed December 2025. Your train falls off the tracks. Pretty much like that. Yes, that's about. Yeah, you're probably about right on that. Yes, that's a good way. That's a good way to put it. That's a good way to put it. So quite interesting stuff, folks. Is this going to solve the case? I don't know. But, there was always that angle, like this felt personal, but this felt like somebody was hired. And we were hearing about Mark Orchard, and and this has been hush-hush. He's really went quiet. She's, opening up about this really horrible spot in her life. Was he going to be at the Olympics? I mean, some people even said like Mount Lauer. I'm like, I don't see somebody do it. But you just never know. This day and age, like we've got freaking doctors killing attorneys over malpractice. Like this world has just gone to hell in a handbasket. I'm sorry, it just has. I've just never heard of so much craziness in all my life from people that have like the best opportunities in the world. It's just like, this is just getting too insane for me. I've never heard of, we've grown up in crazy times, but this is like really, really insanity, here. What do you guys think? I throw something in the chat. I'm just gonna read some comments in the chat. Let's see what you guys think about all this. This is. I'm turning my microphone off just for. I'm gonna eat some popcorn. I'm gonna eat some popcorn. I think it's close to being solved. Martha says. Hey, Medic Biker. It's nice to see you, love. I hope you're doing well. I think someone is trying to put fear in people. If Savannah's mom isn't safe or able to be found, then no one is safe. That good perspective. Good perspective, yeah. And her job is, well, you know what? You're right about that. Trail. You're right about that. But, even like YouTube and stuff, this is cutthroat. I would never believe, but look at all the hate channels. When I got on here and was dealing with this, and my mom started dealing with it, we had to do some things. My mom because she yarns, she does yarn stuff. So she goes on the YouTubes on yarn, and she's floored about how much bullying goes on in the yarn world. Like, there's bullying that goes on. Everything's cutthroat anymore, and everybody makes a mountain out of the molehill, and everybody wants to try to compare. It's like, just do your damn job, and if you do a good job, you're going to succeed. Complaining about somebody else isn't making your work look any better. I'm sorry, not sorry, and that's true. Yeah, so the world's becoming a crazy, sad place. It is. It absolutely is. I was thinking it was family at first, but I think it's someone who has some type of grudge against them for some reason. I'm starting to feel like that too. Didn't the scammer say last night Annie's house almost got broke into the Wi-Fi outage? I don't know. I don't know about the Wi-Fi. That would be very interesting if Annie's neighborhood experienced some type of Wi-Fi outage as well. That would be quite interesting, honestly. But, yeah. Why are people jealous of someone hosting the Today Show? Someone there's there's crazy freaking people out there, okay? I'm telling you, you stick on YouTube long enough, you'll see some of them in the chat. Not this chat. We block them. And if we don't block them, we got a song for them. And it's a cute song. These are the mentally ill people.
Sneaky gremlins love to fight, but we're here to set it right. Jump and duck, let's take a shot. Turning trolls into what they're not. Whack a troll, let 'em tumble, let 'em roll. Swing your spatula or a stick. Whack 'em fast, whack 'em quick.
I'm just saying. We got a lot of crazy people, okay? And if you haven't met them yet, you haven't been around the true crime channels long enough, because they crawl. They're like cockroaches. They crawl out of under all kinds of stuff. And just when you think you got them gone, they start coming right on back. Jack. I'm just saying. They're like a bunch of cockroaches. So if you there's crazy people all over the place. Crazy. When Cash and Trump get involved, it seems very big nationwide. They did. They threw a lot of stuff at it. I don't think anybody can deny that they really did throw a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, they couldn't force the sheriff to turn the case over. The sheriff was making detrimental decisions to this case that cost this case time when we had no time. Now, in all fairness, I truly believe that this lady was dying or dead on her way out that door. I don't know why I feel that way. I just feel that way. Will I ultimately find out? I don't know. Okay, I really don't. But I believe she was dying or on her way out. So I don't believe that any of these delays would have cost her life. But that's just my opinion, and I have to remind everybody that, that is my opinion. I believe she was deceased or dying on her way out that door. But if she wasn't, then his decisions most likely cost her life. And we may never know whether the sheriff of Pima County, and that's a lot of weight on a sheriff's shoulders, but he shouldn't have allowed his partisanship, his politics, interfere with his policing or his good judgment, and I truly believe he did. He allowed his vindictiveness and his vitriol for the FBI to override his common sense in this case, and still to this day has been doing that. Now, if he does find the person, if they do make an arrest, I don't think it's going to change that. At the end of the day, if she walked out of that house alive, he cost her life. And And that's something he is never, ever, ever going to be able to go back from. Did my sound change? All of a sudden, my sound should have changed. I hate when my sound changes. Sometimes there's gremlins in my computer that make my sound. No, my sound shouldn't change. You know, my sound's up. My sound's up. I just talk a little bit lower because it's kind of, it's kind of sad. It's kind of sad. So, all right, guys, I really don't have any more than that. I really don't. We have the 24th of January. We have the January 11th time frame. And, of course, we have February 1st. One thing that our audience members have noticed, they said sound is low. Why is my sound low? Huh. Is everybody agree? The sound is fine. It just got lower all the way around. Okay. Gotcha. Well, let me see where, because there we go. I know why. I moved it down. We're on a different, there we go. Hi, guys. I'm sorry. I had it way down here. And it should have been way up here. You're right. I'm sorry. It was my fault. I moved the wrong thing. Hi, guys. How are you doing? Can you hear me better now? Can you hear me 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 now? Oh, it got low after the trolls. That's right, because I reduced the volume on mine. Sorry, guys. It was my fault. Thank you, Real. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I do that. Don't mind me. You guys could have blamed it on my hair color, but, I used to be blonde, but now I grew it out. This is my natural. We went through the football helmet and everything. I kind of like the color now. I don't think I'm going to change it. It's gray. I got a lot of gray, but you know what? I like it. I like it. I'm happily aging. What can I say? I'm happily aging. What can I say? I'm not getting any kind of lift, tuck, or injections. I don't know what that crap does to a body. I'm not going to try it. This is what you get. What you see is what you get, baby. What you see is what you get, okay? Oh, Pammy Bear, it's nice to see you. Robert, it's nice to see you. Where are the voices coming from? We need the mental health song again. Oh, anyways. But the 24th, the 11th, what are all these things? Now, these trending things? That trend's creeping me out, though. Let me just read just a little bit more. Hold on a second. Let me just make sure we're not missing anything. So this is what it says on the trends. Let me just get this behind you. Before we log out, I want to go through all of this again. Oh, I don't like that side. I want to go this side. There we go. So the address search, June 2025. And again, on January 11th. That seems so specific. Oh, here we go. A spike in Arizona. So here it is, right here. A spike. Reported 63 searches for her address in Arizona on December 5th, 2025, and 66 on December 10th. So I think we have some major planning going on. 6 months, it looks like. Image search. So on March 1st to the 8th, 2025, and again around November and December, suggest research into the home's layout. March 2025, that's around the time Annie and Tommaso bought their home. So this might have been when she was talking to the realtor, and maybe the realtor was trying to use the computer. This would be more of where I would be looking because of these up here. I'd be looking more right down here. But I didn't see where her property ever went active on the market. So even if she was talking to a realtor about the house, would this be related to maybe that? Which I don't think, because I feel like something's wonky with that whole her house going on the market but didn't go on the market. So we need to get some clarification and more related searches in mid-December. There were searches from Tucson, Savannah Guthrie salary, suggesting search for financial information related to her daughter. Suspicious timeline. The activity aligns with a suspected kidnapping, with investigators identifying early January as key periods. So it sounds like somebody was doing their homework on this family. That kind of feels stalkerish to me, no? More so than in it being somebody that was known to them. That feels like a stalker. It feels like somebody that may have came across an article or saw the video and realized, oh, wait a minute, we have them that live right down the street from us, 5 minutes, 20 minutes away from us. This is pretty interesting. Yeah, something's not right here, but that the earliest going back to when the floor plan and address were looked at, 2025, June, July, that was when she was first starting to break her silence about her ex-husband. And we don't know why her and her ex-husband split. And she ended up having kids with her new husband. I mean, this kind of really does, it could, I should say, not does, it could feel or have the whole Spencer and Monique Tepe vibe to it. In all reality. If you guys don't know what that is, that's, Columbus, Ohio? A dentist, a well-known dentist, and his wife murdered in their house. And the suspect, the person that's going to trial right now, is her ex-husband from 8 years before. Like, she divorced him 8 years before he broke into her house and murdered her and her husband. People are just crazy. So it's, this really kind of has, potential vibes like that. And, I found it quite odd about how secretive, because that was what was really noticeable about Monique's divorce from Mike McKee, was how secretive and how hush-hush that divorce was. And it's kind of ironic that that's, kind of the similar vibe we get from Savannah Guthrie and her divorce from Mark Orchard, is that really hush-hush, nobody wants to talk about the elephant in the room. And we come to find out that elephant in the room for Monique Tepe was a very abusive man. Violently abusive man. So, I don't know. Talk about a grudge. Yeah. I mean, it could fit. It could. I'm not saying it does. I want to make sure I preface that I have never said that Mark Orchard is responsible for what we're dealing with here. This is just another person in this circle of people that had tentacles into this family that might be a viable path for scrutiny. And I don't know much about Mark Orchard. He might be a great guy. He might be a terrible guy. He might be a very violent guy. He might be another Michael McGee for all I know. And he might not. He might be, a turkey man, just a docile Christian guy that just loves people. We don't know. We don't know these people. We don't know these people at all. So it makes it very, very, very difficult. But up the reward, Savannah. Push the snitch. Listen, at $1 million, at $1.2 million, if nobody's snitching, there might not be two people. And this might be so, the person might not have, I feel like this is more than one person, but in all fairness, we discussed the reality of this. This case could have been carried out by one person, a singular person. Without a doubt, this could have been carried out by a singular person without anybody knowing about it. So, I don't know what we're dealing with here. I'm not going to speculate. We will speculate when we have something to speculate. This is one angle we're going down. I feel like this would be more of an appropriate angle than, say, Tommaso, because I think Tommaso's been cleared, but Mark Orchard, it has not. We have a timeline that kind of dips into the first time she started opening up about her ex-husband. And I found that awfully interesting. Compared to her, it seems like her career took off. Maybe he is still very, very, very much bitter that she left him, for all we know. So, more than one person, someone usually speaks to someone and then people talk. That's it. Or you have a knucklehead that goes out and gets drunk and doesn't even realize he bragged about something he shouldn't have bragged about. I mean, it's so hard when you're doing some stuff like this. Unless you are a professional outfit and trust the people, it's very hard to pull something like this off. And then if something goes south, like somebody dies, everybody keeping their mouth shut. It's very hard to find a team where you have true, confidentiality, because somebody always gets nervous. And especially when you're dealing with idiots and thugs, somebody always wants to save their own ass, But this one, you've got $1.2 million out there and nobody's come forward to collect that money. I don't know. It makes you wonder if this person acted alone because of that factor. $1.2 million. I mean, it's hard to have more than one person and them all stay silent. It really is. It's harder than you might think. I mean, look at the sheriff. He's supposed to be trained to keep his mouth shut, and he leaks all over the place. So, I mean, can you imagine an untrained person? Anyways. All right, guys, that's really all we have for tonight. I want to thank you all for coming out, just hanging out with me, learning about a new person. The January 24th date is very interesting to me, It's very interesting to me because we misstated a date. The date was wrong, but I was ready to pull Mark Orchard, and then we looked into the Google Trends, and it puts him squarely back on the possibility train, as crazy as that sounds. But there's a search that goes back to the first time she opened up about her ex-husband, and that's very interesting for me. So anyways, guys, rocking out with your coffee beans out. Don't forget to be fearless. If you see something, say something. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And until next time, please be safe, but more importantly, kind to one another. And do not forget, tomorrow morning, our live is going to be at the crack of dawn at 6 a.m. So if you are up, please consider coming over and hanging out with Betty at early morning hours. We will be going until about 8. I might start a little bit later, but not much later. But that's because I'm most likely going to stay home and do my meeting virtually. I can do it virtually. I like being there personally. It's cost me a little bit more money, but getting their full attention and them having me to look me eyeball and eye to eyeball is my preferred method. Okay, but it really depends on how my patient method applies to tomorrow, because it's supposed to be really cold for me. And if you guys know me, I don't like being an Eskimo. I'm going to try to get up and get out of the house and be there in person. But if I do not, we will be still going. It doesn't matter. My meeting still starts at the same time. So we still have to get going in this. Again, thank you all for coming out. Please don't forget, if you're on the replay crew, please share this. Please hype this video. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. All the stuff that you guys can do to help this channel grow. We super, super appreciate it. Thank you so much. Have a great night, and we will see you soon.